we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Are growing out, and the only way the roots grow out every single day and they grow stronger and they grow better is if that we all water.
What? I'm out, man.
Hi. Hello. Happy Labor Day. It's the end of summer. You're talking to two teachers now. I'm Chip.
I'm Drip.
That's Drip. Man, I have so many fun things planned for tonight.
You better bring my spirits up, man. I'm feeling real low right now.
I have so many things that we're going to talk about, especially because we are going to hit every single dang sport, except hockey, because hockey's stupid.
Yeah, people don't know they do hockey.
Hockey's stupid. And I know if Matt tunes in, he's going to be like, yeah, hockey is stupid. You're right. Well, ready for this? We're going to talk about football. Go.
Can I just start right now and just tell you guys why I'm so down? We're so down right now because we have a junior quarterback at Clemson right now. DJ Ongalalele, whatever you say his name. The dude absolutely reeks. Like, he is the bottom of the barrel quarterback. He is by far the worst quarterback in the NCAA. And he's our quarterback right now. And we're just like letting him like gallivanting out there. He's just going out there, making all this NIL money, doing absolutely nothing. Like, the dude can't, I don't know. The dude can't out quarterback my 5-year-old. Like, right now, I put my son out there and they'll play a better game than him. And this dude is freaking stinks. I'm tired of it. I've had enough. It almost messed my whole night up. Then everybody's like, "Oh, well, why will?" I was like, "Well, he'll probably get it together." And we're playing Georgia Tech. He's not gonna get it together. Dude stinks. I'm done. You know what? I'm done. I'm done.
But you guys are winning.
It does not matter, Chip. It's like when you watch a game, the only reason that they are winning, is because this team stinks so bad and our defense is so good. They're gonna shut them out, but our team is probably gonna have like 14 points. They need to play the freshman. Freaking DJ Ungole, whatever how you say his freaking name.
DJ.
Dude freaking stinks.
Well, on that lovely happy note, shout out to the people tuning in already. Maddie's checking in. Yes. Hi, hello. Adam's checking in. What's up, JD and Chip? Happy Monday. Yes. And Maddie says you should start your son.
I will start my son because that freaking dude stinks. Are you watching the game? Can anybody give me live game things in the chat? I would like that very much. What's up, y'all?
Javier says what's up. So listen, we have a jam-packed show tonight. We're going to talk about football, both professional and college. We're going to talk about basketball because a huge trade was made in the NBA last week. We are going to talk about baseball. We're going to talk about union soccer.
What are we doing?
There was a situation that the union had in their game that I would like to discuss with you. And Benny would like you to know that it is now 14-0.
Thank you, Benny. I appreciate that. These dudes stink. Oh, I don't care.
Except according to ESPN, it has not been updated yet, and it is still 7-0.
Phillies also suck. Yes, that's true.
Yes. So, Adam is right. The Phillies do suck. And I think it's time for the wheel. Oh, there you go. So, there you go, DJ. Just threw a nice ball to the back of the end zone, so.
Listen, I don't care. Listen, DJ stinks. I don't care. Like, I'm getting text from our guy, Jumanji Bets, over on D2N, and he's a Clemson guy, too, and he loves DJ. If he could take a bath in his sweat, he probably would.
Okay.
Dude,
wow.
Stinks.
But it is 14-0. Your guys are up.
Dude, we're playing Georgia Tech. They got like, I think, 15 total yards. And they have like 76 yards and like false starts.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at your stats right now, and your quarterback is both your leading passer and your leading rusher right now. So what else do you have?
That's the point. Because so the one time that they were playing, what happened is we blocked the punt. That's how they scored the first touchdown. Because they blocked the punt and they got it down to the 5. He wouldn't even have those yards if it wasn't for that. And then he just threw a pass for 6 yards and got a touchdown. So right now, like, What are we talking about? The defense is winning this game for us. It has nothing to do with him. I told you, my 5-year-old son can go out there and do that.
Well, your 5-year-old son cannot play on the wheel, though. So the wheel is back, y'all. Here we go. I have so many top. Oh, we're even going to talk about the Savannah Bananas.
What are we doing here?
We're having so much fun. Here we go. No whammies, 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 no. Oh, what's it going to be?
Phillies.
All right. We'll get this out of the way real quick. What do you say?
You got it, man.
So the calendar has turned to September, and the Phillies once again are letting down, as per usual. You've got Castellanos on injured. You've got Nola pitching as Nola tends to do, and they're still saying, oh, well, he's coming back. No, he's not. He's not. He's doing his Nola type things. He had his early September collapse in the end of August. You've got Wheeler on the IR. You've got Bryce Harper coming back. You've got JT Realmuto doing okay. And then the rest of the team is kind of just doing what they do. Ranger Suarez looked like garbage. They got their asses kicked all weekend by Gabe Kapler, letting up run after run after run after run after run, crashing down at the bank, nobody doing nothing. Yeah, I mean, they have a wild card spot available, and I don't know if they're going to claim it. They do it every year, yes, 100%. And the question comes in, so I'm going to ask you this, and JD, you are a guy who follows the Phillies just enough that you can have this conversation with me here. That's about the extent of your Phillies-based knowledge, correct?
I'm a little versed. I used to write for the Phillies. I can do a little something.
So Rob Thompson is the interim manager right now. And I know there's a whole process when you are an interim manager where you have to still apply for the position, basically, and they've got to interview other people, but then they kind of just take the interim spot away. When Bryce Harper was out, Rob Thompson looked like a no-brainer for even manager of the year, but a no-brainer for holding down the spot. If somehow the Phillies September collapse again, should Rob Thompson be the full-time manager of the Phillies?
My honest answer is yes, because no matter what the deal is, no matter who you've had as the manager, that collapse happens in September. So it's more so, it's about probably the building. It's probably the culture in the building than it is about who's the manager. So it's either one or two things happen. You can either change the manager, but he needs to come from outside. It needs to be somewhere far off from what we thought. Or if it stays the manager that it is, he needs to be willing to change the culture next year, because that's what's going to need to happen. Because if it happens all the time and we already see the pattern, then it's something more so in the building. Maybe it's the players just getting content or making a run or getting tired in September. I don't know.
Well, so I see this, Javier saying, I thought it was Joe's fault for some time now. We can see now that it's not the case. Well, here's the thing. It was Joe's fault. The Phillies would not be in this position if Joe Girardi was still the manager of this team. That is a no-brainer. Joe Girardi was so stuck in the mud on his ways that it didn't matter. Like, he didn't look at lineups. He was, I'm going to pitch this guy in this inning. I'm going to do this. And he sneezed to the truth. 2 times.
I see what's going on.
Yeah, that was actually legit sneeze, and I couldn't hold it.
I see what's going on.
My concern is I do think that Rob Thompson should be the manager of the Phillies moving forward. You got a guy who's literally got Miller Lights in the bottom of his refrigerator. He's that dude. He's got it.
Okay.
But they went over the luxury tax this season.
Yes.
And at the trade deadline, they went out and got pieces for prospects.
Yes.
So the expectation is that they are a playoff team. I feel like Rob Thompson has done enough to be the manager moving forward. However, I don't know if he will be. I feel like if they have another September collapse, thank you, Maddie. I feel like if they have another September collapse, that they're going to have to almost go out and get one of these big name guys like a Girardi, like your Doc Rivers. There's like these coaches that just all have names, rather than letting the team grow with somebody, as Rob Thompson and the Phillies have already done.
I mean, in theory, you are right. They will probably need to do something. But the problem with that is if he probably needs to do something, and you probably need it may not be the right decision just because of the simple fact that whatever your knee-jerk instinct is probably your right one. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the one that it's like, oh, that we should do that. Like, that's what you go with. I think this guy's done a good enough job where he should be at least get another year or two to figure it out. I mean, he was kind of just thrown in there. I mean, he's the interim guy. So, I mean, nobody expects much of an interim guy, and to make a run like they did. Maybe we were talking about them possibly winning winning the big dance or winning the pennant. So now,
no, not with the way the Mets are playing. The Mets will have their own collapse. Don't you worry.
Well, that was what they were knowing, that they're going to have the collapse, but they were thinking that maybe they may have a chance. So if that's the case,
right? But you can't do that when you're playing. So this past week they played the Reds, who they swept, which was great. They played the Pirates, who they won 2 of 3 from, which again you're supposed to do. They played 3 against the Diamondbacks, a sub 500 team, and lost 13-7, 12-3, and then won 18-2. And then you played a 3-game series against the Giants, a sub 500 team, and lost 13-1, 5-4, and 5-3.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So let's just say in a perfect world, they don't play 170,000 games in a year.
Sure.
And let's say they played less. How many games do you really think the MLB season should be? Like in a perfect world?
So it's tough because you see what the NBA is doing where they have these play-in tournaments. So the regular season versus the playoffs are 2 completely different beasts. You see that the NFL is maximizing on their capital by adding a playoff spot. That's what MLB is trying to do. Baseball is a long game. It is a beautiful game, but it is a long game. Like an individual game is a long game. This season got started late because of the strike at the beginning of the season. I don't think everybody remembers that, or the lockout, not the strike.
Remember that.
And then they ramped it up real quick. So we're at 162 games because that's just how many games you play. I think in a perfect world, I don't know about adding more playoff teams, Adam, but I do think somewhere in that 80 to 85, cut the season in half. Cut the season in half. Number one, you would extend players' careers. You know, you're talking about pitchers that are blowing out arms and they're taking this Tommy John surgery and they're missing a year. If you're only pitching, so we'll go 82 games because that's what the NHL does. That's what the NBA does. Right? If you go to that 82 game number and you divide it by 5, you're minimizing how many starts each pitcher has to do. So you're removing these bullpen games again.
Right.
I feel personally that somewhere in that, even if you do a nice round 100, but I think 162 games is a long season and it's just people being crotchety going, you know what? We don't want to give it up.
Okay. So I'm going to be real with you.
Mm-hmm.
I would care more about baseball if there was less games. Because the game, to me, it just doesn't seem like the regular season matters for anything. I mean, it just really doesn't. Like, I mean, yeah, like the top teams are going to be the top teams because they're the top teams. But to be honest with you, we kind of know who's going to be at the top after watching about 20 or 6 between the 20 and 40 games. We already know who's good. It doesn't take us 160 to figure that out. It's just not. Then at that point, it's just who's left still standing because everybody else is hurt, banged up, washed up already for the rest of the year. Like you got guys that have missed 40 games and they still have 40 games left to play. Like that's craziness to me. That's nuts. It's hard to keep someone's interest for 160 games of this shit.
And you look at like the NFL. Why does the NFL? So number one is the way the NFL is played, the games that they're playing themselves. But you've got 17 games. You've got 17 games. And the excitement doesn't really ramp up for baseball until August, September. And they always say, like, you can't win a pennant in, March and April, but you sure can lose one.
Yeah.
If things aren't getting exciting until now, I do think that that's something that has to be looked at. And it would prevent the Phillies September collapse from happening again. And Steve makes a great point here. They're trying desperately to grab on any way they can, but the NFL is doing the same thing, going like, oh, we have this direct TV game, this Amazon Prime game. Stop it. There are too many streaming services. I don't want to go to Apple TV. I don't want to go to Peacock to watch my baseball games. Leave me alone.
Yeah, you say that, but at the same time, like, I think for the most part, how many baseball games would you say you watched during the year?
I watch a lot just because of what I do with the umpiring and the coaching and like that. I watch a lot of baseball, but I am not a normal human.
No,
before I got back into podcasting, it was maybe I would watch 2 games a year.
Okay, so a regular person watch about maybe let's say 40 games of baseball. There's 160 played. There's still these 120 games out there that nobody's probably watching. And if you are,
people get mad. And then people get mad because our stands aren't full at home games, and we're letting Mets fans throw out the first pitch. You know what? You got to lower the ticket prices. We talked about this last week with the whole Bryce Harper thing. You should have validated the tickets from Lehigh Valley. It is very tough for all of these games to get people down there for 162 games divided by 2. So for 81 home games.
Yeah, but then let's say you took half of those and then you made it 40. Then it's a lot more easier to pack 40 games out than to pack 80 games out.
But you're also at that point affecting economies, people who are banking on it all through the summer months.
I get what you're saying, guys. I'm not fighting that part of it, but nobody cares though. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody cares. Like the random chips of the world, the guys who write for some guys who write for baseball, they care. But like the normal everyday fan is not watching 160 damn games of baseball. It's like most people don't watch the NBA until like damn near the playoffs, and we already kind of know who's going to be there at that point. Yeah. So we're in the same position.
Yeah, Adam's saying that the NFL is a Nickelodeon game. They do that one up for the kids, but if your team's not playing in it, you don't give a damn. But they also stream it on a mainstream network. That's the big thing. So there's the kids version to get them hooked early, but they do it somewhere else, right? Yeah, it's similar with the NBA. Why I love college basketball. We're 82 games to tell me the Warriors are good? No, thank you. Yeah. And Mike, by the way, don't go far because the Union are on the wheel tonight. To your point about tickets, that's why the MLS is beginning to pick up steam. Tickets are at a fraction of other sports, but it's also not in Philadelphia. So you're not driving into the city and combating all of that. Now, at some point, do I feel like the Union should move over a little bit? Probably get a little bit closer at least. But right now they're crushing it where they're at. And there's still a lot of room to build up in the stadiums.
True, fair.
All right, back to the wheel.
Does anyone have a game score update? They've scored now. 14-3. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, JD. We about to talk about the soon-to-be 12-team college football playoffs.
That's bullshit.
Okay, we are right off the bat then. Here we go.
That whole 12-team thing is absolute. You can take that little graphic down so people can see it.
I guess I can. Yeah, sure.
If it's bullshit, man. Like the last couple years, the top 2 teams have blown out everybody. Like, I mean, the national championship games aren't even close. Why would you extend this thing out? Like, if you can't get 2 good epic classic final games, why would you extend anything out? Because that means that you're not doing a good job of parity. Now, I'm all for the whole, it's like March Madness, give everybody a shot. There'll be upsets. There won't be. Alabama is king for right now. And they've been king for quite some time. And every so often, you have 1 or 2 teams that knock them off during the year. But it doesn't happen very often. So right now, number 1 would be Alabama. You got Alabama playing the 9th and the 8th seed winner to decide if they go to the playoff semifinal. Mm-hmm. They're gonna knock their freaking face off. Like that team could be a 9th seed could be like a I don't know. Right now, it could be like a FSU. Well, no, not FSU.
Well, hold on. So let's break this down here for a second. So you look at it as Alabama's just going to roll out their headhunters and destroy a number 9 or a number 8, and then they're going to roll up against eventually probably a number 4 and destroy them, and then they're eventually going to roll up against the 2 or the 3 and destroy them.
All you've done is add an extra game for Alabama to roll through. That's it.
But what I think actually is going to happen is they're not going to play their big, like You're already starting to see this, like players sitting out the national semifinal and the national championship. Why? Because they know they're getting drafted, and the purpose of college football is to make money in the pros.
That's not how it works, Chip. I think it's where you got it messed up. People sit out the bowl games. They don't sit out with the semifinal games. Like if your team doesn't have a chance to win the championship, of course you sit out. Like that's normal. But if your team has an opportunity to win the Natty, then that team normally plays their players. It's like
normally, but now you're adding an extra game.
Yeah, but then since all those teams that have like right now, so like 5th seed normally wouldn't be in the playoffs. So that team would be playing in like Chick-fil-A Bowl or Butt Crack Bowl or Toilet Bowl, whatever bowl they got.
Those are actually sponsors, by the way. The Butt Crack Bowl is a sponsor.
Okay, true. Fair enough.
It's brought to you by Preparation H. Continue.
Yes. So if you in this number 5 seed, normally your players would have sat because there's nothing. You get to go somewhere and play a game. They give you some merch and you go home. So you would sit out. But now the number 5 seed team will play. They play their best players. They have a chance to win. The only problem with that is there's still no parity there. Because if you look at the last couple of years, the 4 seed has been destroyed. Like Notre Dame, they put in every year. They get destroyed.
Absolute smackdown, sure.
And they're part of that top 4. So why would you add more teams that are not as good as even Notre Dame? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
because it's all about the money. And now some of these earlier games are going to actually be hosted on the college campuses, like they're home games. Right? So that 12-5 matchup, it's at the 5 matchup.
Yeah, and that number 1 seed is playing at Alabama until the playoff semifinal, which is the same thing they do now. If I'm the bowl commission, the people that over the bowls, I'm pissed off.
But this was voted unanimously.
It may have been because the way they've placed it towards the bowls. So now that number 9 and number 8 game will be that Preparation H Bowl.
No,
it'll be called that.
But it's going to be at the 8th field.
Right. But it's going to be called the Preparation H Bowl, and they're going to take the bowls to the colleges. So they're going to
So you're telling me that if it's like Oregon versus like Hawaii, and Hawaii's not going to be a bowl team, but if it's like Oregon at Hawaii, they're going to host the Cotton Bowl?
Or whatever.
Which, by the way, should still not be a bowl at this point in 2022. But that's a different conversation.
Tostitos Bowl or Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Like normally the Rose Bowl is the Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl, and what is it? Sugar Bowl. All those
Orange Bowl.
Orange Bowl. Those bowls are normally the top 4 bowls. So they'll be at the playoff semifinal. So they'll be at the place they're supposed to be. But when they play those games like the Toe Jam Bowl, those games are played wherever.
Right. It's to the highest bidder.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, they'll just go to that college and set up count. So, I don't know.
I like it, but what my issue with it is, and it's the issue that's always been, is that you have these guys that are the conference regular season champions.
Mm-hmm.
And then they are still expected to play in the bowl, like their conference championship as well. So like Ohio State, right, it should, but will it?
Well,
now they're playing what, 8 games?
Well, they won't play that. They probably won't play 2 out of conference games. They'll probably take one of those out of conference games and make that the conference championship game. They will make it rectified. They're not going to play more games because guys like Nick Saban, I'm not going to. Especially if you're playing like the Big Ten and you're beating up on each other all year, the SEC, you're beating up on each other all year. You won't play an out of conference schedule at this point. You'll just play your conference schedule. Especially since they added Oklahoma and all those teams to that conference.
Well, and that's the other thing. They just did this whole conference switch up and everything. So, like, are you really getting a fair assessment of these teams?
Yeah, because the SEC will be the super conference. Then there's always been talks about Big Ten and ACC merging. So there's always been those talks. And then with the Pac-12. So those teams already have a decent sized conference that you can kind of deal with. But the realignment is going to matter because you got teams like ACC's pretty much bring Clemson out every year. And then the Big Ten will probably bring out Ohio State. Pac-12 may throw out Oregon or anybody.
Well, we don't know because the Pac-12 just added a whole bunch of teams, I thought.
I think they added some, but they got Utah in there, and they thought Utah was good.
I mean, the Big 12. The Big 12 usually cranks out one in there, too.
Big 12 always cranks out Oklahoma, but no, Oklahoma's going to SEC. So now the SEC is going to have more people. But, I don't know. It's to me, I think they should have expanded it maybe to 8 and then seeing how that went. But expanding it to 12 just seems asinine.
It does give the feel of everybody gets in. Like you right now have you rank the top 25. They always talk about the top 25. Half of those teams are now in this situation.
And now those games that we look so forward to in the college, that every game matters. Every game doesn't matter because literally you can lose a couple games and still make the playoffs.
Yeah, and and then if it's between like you being the 12 seed or the 10 seed or the 12 seed and the 11 seed, like maybe you try to lose a little bit. Like if it's between you being the 10 seed or the 11 seed, for example, right? We'll go that way. I might lose that game to fall to 11 because then I got the easier run in my second game.
Well, that is true. I mean, people will find a way to play the system, of course. And it's also that calls down to a committee too. So it's not even really, you don't really know from game to game how that's going to work because it's a committee voting on it. And they're deciding based on points. But if you're like Clemson, I don't know, man. No, they don't, because that's not true. Because the last couple games that we've seen, the Clemson one time beat Alabama in the national championship by more than 30 points. Then they came back the next year and LSU beat Clemson by more than 30 points. And then the year after that, Alabama beat the hell out of somebody. So it's like you're not getting parity. We think that it's parity because normally it's the teams that we're used to seeing. But if you look back at those national championships, those games haven't been close. Ever since Clemson played Alabama, that was the last big classic that we got in the national championship. Everything else has been a blowout after blowout after blowout after blowout. So, no, there's no parity. So I don't think you need more than 4 teams to tell you that there's no parity, because all this is going to tell you is that there's no even less parity. You're just getting to see some team getting their face kicked in.
To Max's points for those listening, it's at the end of the day, that football puts out a good product regardless. And then the second point, at the end of the day, it's arguable that the NCAA football is more enjoyable than the NFL. I think that only time that's true is if you follow one of the big teams. If you don't, then it's no parity for you. Right. Let's say you're a Wake Forest fan, or let's say you're a Villanova football team. Villanova does have a football team, but they play in that subdivision. Okay. So let's say you were a Rutgers fan. You have nothing to cheer for after your normal college schedule. Nothing. Like this, the season ends at 11 games for you. Most seasons. Temple, same difference. Penn State, your season ends normally after your right around the Ohio State or the Michigan State game. Yeah, your season's pretty much done. So, I mean, that's why I say that there's no parity in college. The college teams are coming out of the South. So, you know who's watching college football? The Southern kids. Like, that's who's watching. Correct. Football. Not the Northern guys. You can root for one team, but still enjoy the big games like Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. Absolutely. For sure. You can enjoy those games. But you don't hear, like, we live in, again, for me now, and I'm sure it's very different, JD, for you, because you live down in South Carolina. So when you turn on local sports talk radio, they are talking about South Carolina football, correct? Yeah, either South Carolina, Clemson, Georgia, North Carolina, depending on where you at. I live in the Philadelphia area where sports talk radio never mentions college football. Right. And that's how you know the difference. Or they only talk about Penn State. Penn State, barely. And they don't talk about, I'll be honest, they don't talk about Penn State on the two majors. Now, if you go to Ohio, they're going to run your face in the mud about Ohio State football. It's because they ain't talking about the Browns. In Michigan. Or they probably were talking about the Browns a lot this year. But all I'm saying is they're going to be a lot. It's a lot different demographic. And then it's like you're only catching the Southern teams for college football because nobody else cares about it. You're not going out to Cali's not talking about college football because they haven't won anything in a while since Reggie Bush time. So that's been, 20 years? Yeah, well, you saw – and there's college football on there, and we're going to talk about that. But you saw the stands for USC and UCLA this weekend. It was bad. And those are supposed to be California's premier teams. They got a new coach up in USC. They got, new quarterbacks and all the – didn't matter. No. And Chip Kelly sucks. So, and I don't think Lincoln Riley is much better. So, yeah, but he was a big name. When the coach's name is bigger than the players, that's an issue.
Fair enough. I mean, look at Michigan. Michigan's got Harbaugh, and every year they let us down. Last year was the first year they put out a decent product, and they went and laid an egg in the playoffs. So I don't know. I don't care one way or another. It's going to be the 4 teams. Even if there's 25 teams, the top 4 teams are going to be in there.
By the way, totally different note. Have you tried BioSteel?
No, and I hope they're not a sponsor of ours.
They're not, but yo, this stuff slaps. It's better than Gatorade. Like, I've drank this stuff when I was umping and like doing like a 4-game day. And like, I'll drink one of this, and it's one of those things where you can feel like it hitting your body. Like, oh, okay, I'm good.
It's hitting your bloodstream. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
with it.
BioSteel.
Okay. We're not sponsored by them, so we can't say their name too many times. But yes.
I'm just telling you, friend to friend, as an athlete and a coach of athletes, check it out. Trust me.
People telling me to bench him. Yeah. People are not saying bench this guy. It's 14-3. Like, Clemson's done. We're going to drop in the standings.
Okay. This is not a long topic. Okay. I was at the haircut place, and I was getting my hairs cut, right? Nice and short again. Cool. Looking good. And they were talking about what's that now? It's just light.
Oh, it looked
no, it's my dirty brown. Dirty blonde, baby. Dirty blonde. And they were talking about Lamar Jackson's, first off, he's on the last year of his rookie deal. Okay, so let's just start there. And they're saying with the negotiations of the contract, Lamar Jackson has said flat out, when the season starts, I am done negotiating. So kudos to him. And we've seen these huge deals coming in with Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson and all these guys. Yeah. What is a fair deal for Lamar Jackson's second contract right now?
He should get the max deal. I mean, regardless, because he's so valuable to that team. They can't win. If you take Lamar Jackson out the picture, they don't win nearly half the games that they win. Just because they don't have anybody. They just lost Marquise Brown. They barely have a receiving core. I think they still got Rashawn Bateman.
It's the reason why I draft Mark Andrews in my fantasy football every single year.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have very many weapons. He looks for his tight end a bigger target because he's running a lot, and that's easier to see downfield. I would say I would probably go maybe 200. I mean, whatever the market value for him is, I guess 245 was the last thing I seen for a quarterback. 245 for maybe like 4 years or something. I feel
not
like
for 4 years, really.
What was what's called just new deal? What was Russell Wilson's new deal for 4 years? I think it was 245 for maybe 4 or 5 years.
He got 5 years, 242.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm just going off the top of the dome here. Like, I'm not even looking at numbers. I mean, that's Russ. That's Russ. And they play the same position. They got very similar games. They both running quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson got what? 330 something?
Served. He got served.
Right. 330 for like 4 or 5 years too. Maybe 6.
His is 5 year 230.
5 years 230. I mean, it would be somewhere within there. You know what I'm saying? Some of it's got to be guaranteed, of course, because he's a running quarterback. He has to make sure he takes care of that part for himself. He's a Heisman winner and he's an MVP. He's won an MVP. So
I'm gonna stop you there. You can't, in my opinion, you can't use the Heisman winner conversation when you're now going for your second contract. When you're going for your first contract, maybe, but it's all done.
What I'm saying
is all done through the pay scale. But that's not relevant anymore. That's saying again, Manziel won a Heisman.
No, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, the dude has won on all levels. He's and it's not just a thing that he did in the college. He did it. He almost won a Heisman twice, and then he didn't
win. He won individual accolades,
right? Because he's been on trash teams. Like, if they give him a team, Louisville was trash before he got there, and they're trash again now that he's gone.
Correct.
Baltimore was pretty much shit when he got there. They didn't have anything but a running game. Last year, they lost every single running back last year, and they were trash again. So, really, and then he didn't play very much in that season as well, so they really stunk. So, we know how valuable Lamar Jackson is right now. So, you have to look in it.
Here's my thing, right? I think that if you're talking about quarterback contracts, he's not a great quarterback.
I
Right?
don't agree. No. I
But you know this is how I feel. I think that because he relies so much on those checkdowns, he relies so much. Like he'll have a game where he throws for 89 yards total, and then the next game he'll throw for like 500. So the inconsistency is with the team around him as well.
Yes.
I think the other thing with Lamar Jackson is exactly like you said. The entire team is centered around him. He is integral. He is the most valuable player on that team. So the Ravens really have a choice here. They can either rebuild entirely without him or lock him up for 5, 6, 7 years at this point.
My biggest fear if I'm a Ravens GM is that you don't finish this deal and he goes in a free agency and someone offers him what he's worth.
Correct.
And he goes somewhere and has a ton of weapons. Like you put Lamar Jackson on, i.e. the Rams. That's scary.
See, I don't agree. They are so pass reliant.
Dude, he can throw. The kid's got a cannon. He hasn't had receivers to throw the ball. Mark Andrews leads the league and catches like that.
But it's all checkdowns. It's all checkdowns. He's not hitting him 45 yards down the field.
Tom Brady is the check down king, bud. I'll break it to you. He's got like 20,000
and that's why
championships.
he wins Super Bowls with the guy.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. So it makes him the GOAT quarterback. Lamar Jackson can be a great quarterback checking down because you can't take your eye off him. So he's so dangerous because he can just dump it down and that guy get 40-something yards. You give him a guy like Odell Beckham or Cooper Kupp the check down to, Jesus, the kid probably throws for 600 yards a game and probably runs for another 200.
I mean, look, I don't see it yet, and I know this will be one of those times where it'll come back and we'll have this conversation in 2-3 years, and that's fine. I don't see it yet. I didn't see it coming out of college. I haven't seen it yet in his career, and every time I say that, he goes off huge numbers-wise, and that's fine because in the next game, he proves my point again.
So my question for you is what does he need to do to make you change your mind, I guess?
In order to get paid like a quarterback, in order to be considered one of the top tier quarterbacks, he's got to average 250 a game for a whole season. Yeah.
He doesn't have the weapons to do that.
But again, then that's a different conversation. Then why break the bank on this guy when you need more support for him?
Because you can't get anybody else for him. Because they're not going to be bad
enough. So it's the Allen Iverson problem all over again.
No, it's more like the Michael Vick problem. Michael Vick didn't have enough weapons around him either. And then when he finally did get them, it was scary hours, but he was kind of past his prime at that point. So it's just that. Like like I said, either you're like the Ravens can do one or two things. Like I said, they can either lock him down now and get him some weapons.
Yes, Mike, the laundry is done. Thank you.
You have a Samsung?
I do.
I knew it. Or you can let it play out and see how things go. But I'm telling you, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy if this kid goes somewhere else and has like breakout seasons. He's already won one MVP with no weapons. So imagine what he can do if he actually put somebody behind him.
It's true. To the wheel.
Let's do it.
I know Mike's really hoping that it lands on the Union thing. And it's not. Okay.
This is going to be quick too.
This is going to be real quick. Donovan Mitchell is now on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Thoughts about what they gave up to get him?
I don't think they gave up much of anything. They got him for like basically a bag of Skittles and a pack of 9-letters. And really, to be honest, they didn't gain anything either. Like, it's not like Cleveland won the sweepstakes. Like, nobody was really hawking for this guy, which should tell you something about him. Like, I know it's gonna be big news because I guess he's one of the bigger like signature people because he's got like a shoe. But Donovan Mitchell is maybe he's mid, like very mid. Like he's very middle of the pack.
I don't understand.
Doesn't scare me at all.
I don't understand where Utah had some pretty good pieces in a Western Conference that was starting to dwindle.
Yep.
And they gave it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have draft picks until the end of time.
Fair.
But again, I don't see why they thought a rebuild. Like Donovan Mitchell, he's on the up and up. Don't get me wrong. He is on the up and up. But it's not a huge needle mover. And again, I'm looking at the East, and this eight teams, right? That means 2 of these teams are playing teams, or 4 of these teams, excuse me, are playing. No. Yeah, 2 of these teams are playing teams. I don't think that the Cavs, I don't think they're ahead of the Bucks. I don't think they're ahead of the Celtics. They're not ahead of the Heat. They're not ahead of the Sixers. Depending on who plays for the Nets, they might be ahead of the Nets.
The Nets are going to be a lot better than people think.
They are ahead of the Hawks.
I don't know. They got DeJounte Murray. I don't know. That's an outlier. So
it's a small man game though.
There's a wild card in this thing. It's a wild card because Atlanta I'm pretty sure still has Clint Capella. And I'm pretty sure that Chicago has Vucevic or whatever his name is. Whatever. So they still got some big guys. Cleveland is not better than any of those teams. And Simmons is playing. So like that's also something to keep an eye on. The Celtics are maybe in disarray because they tried to trade away. They've been trying to trade away my boy for like 2 years. And they can't seem to get rid of him. Brown. They've been trying to trade him on chopping.
I don't know why. He's a stud.
Yeah, but I don't think they said future with him. So it is what it is. So I mean I think that's pretty much all. If I gotta give you my top 4 teams in the East next year, one being the Sixers, if the James Harden bullshit is true, and that can translate, and he's not looking like he's 150 years old again out there. Bucks probably gonna be there. Any team with Jimmy Butler is gonna have a chance, and probably the Nets. So probably be my top 4.
There you go. To the wheel. Let me put it back up here. I'm doing a lot of clicking and navigating here. Hold on.
I just don't believe in Donovan Mitchell.
I just don't think that it's going to take time for it to gel, and he's not somebody that can change a game.
He's not. Yeah, he's not the guy.
To the wheel. Okay. Okay.
I don't know who these people are you're talking about.
So, JD, you do know then who the Savannah Bananas are?
I do not.
You don't know who the Savannah Bananas are?
I do not.
Okay. So, as easy and best as I can describe it, the Savannah Bananas are...
Hold on, wait. Let me guess. Is it baseball's Harlem Globetrotters?
That's exactly what they are.
Okay. Never mind. Then I already know this.
So this dude buys this team, and this team is whatever. It's a little 4,000 fan stadium, and he brings them together and is like, "Listen, this is what we're going to do. We're still playing this Coastal League, and we'll play our season, but in spring training and afterwards, we're going to play what we call banana ball, which is a different set of rules. The pitchers dance, the umpires dance. There's walk-ups." They have professionally, John Rocker, formerly of the Braves World Series teams, came in a kilt and threw pitches with the World Series trophy behind him. Like, they do goofy shit.
Okay, I'm with it.
And it's awesome. Right now, for the 4,000 fan stadium, there is an 800,000 name wait list to go to a game.
That's dope.
Right? And they play this team called the Animals a lot. They wear black with like pink lettering, and they literally like walk up with like cigars and yes, they literally light a baseball bat on fire and walk up holding a lit on fire baseball bat and hit the ball. Like, it's cool. I want to go. The Savannah Bananas just made a business decision this past week, which is they are going to drop totally from the Eastern Conference Baseball League.
Perfect.
And only play banana ball.
They should only do it. They should do that. F baseball. Like, it's like, what? Why are we doing
But again, the people who are naysaying it, who are poo-pooing it, are the ones who are baseball purists.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Babe Ruth once said, "I'm a baseball player, not an athlete." He literally said that. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. He said, "I'm not an athlete. I play baseball." If you don't believe me, look up the quote. The fat guy that was hitting home runs literally said that. Listen. If you set the market with something and you generate the market, you will do fine. If there's an 800, they're not there to watch them play real baseball. They're there to watch them play banana ball. So, like, what does it matter? Like, you've created, it's like and one. It created a new genre and it caught on. It was crazy.
But again, and when we're talking about basketball, you've seen basketball progressed through the years with the 3-point shot and the dribbling between the legs and the dunking and all that stuff. And then the shorts went long and then the shorts went short and like you've seen baseball progress.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is the same sport it was almost that it was in 1903.
And I have a caveat to that.
Okay.
And that is why baseball is launched less and less and less throughout the years. Once you've seen it once, you've seen it a million times. Every NFL has changed. NBA has changed. Hell, even the WNBA is a thing now. Like, so we're watching all kind of sports change around us. Even tennis is being watched more. Golf is being watched more. Baseball is I'm not saying it's a dying sport. Let me not say that. It's just a non-evolving sport.
It is a sport that is stuck in neutral.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any better because the guys that are playing it don't want it to change.
Which is why when you see something like this banana ball stuff, it does resonate so well with people. And it's cool. Like you go onto their TikTok, they have a weekly episode, a weekly segment on ESPN. I think it's called Banana Land. And like the owner of the team comes out in a yellow tuxedo with a top hat. Mike says that you can go to a baseball game, take a nap, and likely not miss anything. That's the problem with baseball games. Yeah.
I'm with you. I see no lies there. And that's just it. And like anytime you have to pitch gimmicks, and the gimmicks are more popular than the real thing, you got to look at playing the real thing a little different.
Okay. 3 topics left. Jalen Hurts. I have a Jalen Hurts question that I'm going to ask. Union soccer, which Mike has been waiting very patiently for, and then college football recap from this week. We're going Jalen Hurts. I'm going to ask my question.
All right.
Okay. You ready for my question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I need this from my non-Philadelphia guy. We know that Jalen Hurts is in a contract year.
Pay him.
With all of the pieces that they put around him for this season, including adding the safety, they don't have a safety. Here, have a safety. This team is night and day different than they were when the season ended in Tampa last year. Here's my question.
He's going to win MVP. Pay him.
Here's my question. If the Eagles do not win the NFC East this year, is Jalen Hurts the guy?
It depends. If he gets hurt and they don't win.
No. He plays all 17.
Oh, okay. He plays all 17.
Or even 15 of the 17. If they don't win the NFC East this year, which by everybody who is saying it should be a easy cakewalk to win that division right now for the Eagles.
As a non-Philly homer, yes, he has to win the NFC East because there's nobody in the NFC East this year. They're favored out of the NFC East. They have the best team out of the NFC East, offense and defense. There's like Mike saying, there's no excuse for them not to win it. He has weapons. He's got defense. They wouldn't even got a damn linebacker.
Yeah, and even the whole Miles Sanders thing. Yeah, Miles Sanders, I'm suspect to him too. So what did they do? They went out and got him 2 running backs, additional from Gainwell and Boston Scott.
Yeah, so at this point in the game, man, you really can't. You really can't be mad about it. He's got to do it. He's got to show and prove.
He's said all the right things. He's put on video all the practicing. He's done all the right things, and he's even said I'm quieting all the haters. I'm coming out to do my job. He is the epitome of a steel wall. He is ready to go. But now the proof is on the football field. If he doesn't win the NFC East, do they go looking for a quarterback this offseason?
They should. I think that they should go shopping. And then at that point, that new quarterback would have to be somebody that they would have to develop. And then he still would get one more year to decide. You know what I'm saying? They still get one more year to look at him too.
Right.
I just feel like when people don't understand about, I guess sometimes when you talk about quarterbacks are fickle. This guy ain't fickle. So he's going to take what he's going to take, and he's already handled the most part of it. But he's going to make people eat his words, I believe. I think that this year he's going to have a lot of people that were Eagles fans that were out here talking big shit about him, going to be sitting there rocking the jersey. He's going to have the best, most sold jersey this year again coming out. He's going to have the Allen Iverson effect. I'm telling you.
I hope he does. But I just wanted to throw that out there as a question. Javier, Jason Peters, for those of you who don't know, Jason Peters, former left tackle of the Philadelphia Eagles, former saying that, F Dallas, F that whole organization.
Is now a Dallas Cowboy.
Is now a Dallas Cowboy because it is the only team in the league that was willing to pay a 40-year-old man with bum knees and a bum back and bum everything to continue playing football and protect their franchise quarterback. I firmly believe that Jason Peters is a secret spy for the Eagles. And what he's planning on doing is when he goes against the Eagles on October 16th, letting us like a turnstile go. And maybe he won't let us, but he's going to be a turnstile for whoever we have rushing the quarterback.
I mean, he's not going to be able to block Jordan Davis. Like he's
not going to be able to block Jordan Davis. He's not going to be able to block Fletcher Cox. He's not going to be able to block Brandon Graham. He's not going to be able to block Kobe Dean. He's not going to be able to slow these. To his credit, he did start 15 games last year for the Bears.
Well, it was the Bears. And I'm pretty sure they sacked Jalen. I mean, I'm pretty sure they jacked Justin Fields like 1,000 times last year.
Yeah, he did not have a good year. No. Okay. But he played 15 games. Mike, I agree. I hope he plays all 17 games so the Eagles can light him up on the 16th and January 1st.
And just so we know, so we're clear here, everyone that the Eagles are letting go is actually trash. Carson Wentz, trash can juice. JJ Ortega-Whiteside, trash can juice. The kid that, what's the kid thing that count the babies?
Wait. Can we just, I got to have a conversation. I said this on the Wednesday show. Howie Roseman is an entire asshole.
I love it.
Howie Roseman, who I was clamoring for his job so loud. I'm not saying that I am a Howie Roseman fan.
Don't you like him a little more than don't you?
He traded J-Jaw to the team that went out and got the guy that we have compared J-Jaw to his entire career.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
And then they put him on the practice squad. He traded Jalen Reagor to the team that laughed at him for not drafting Justin Jefferson. That still has Justin Jefferson on the team.
Oh, it's beautiful. Like, this guy is...
He is an entire asshole.
I believe that he's the guy that if I Told You So was a person, it'd be him. It was, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, watch how this works out. And then it doesn't work out, and it still works out for him. The guy
traded Carson for a 1-year rental and got a first-round draft pick out of it.
Just because he knew he played just enough to try to prove him right, but would play him right out of the playoffs.
It is a joy to watch. And what I really like about Howie this offseason is he has gone out and gotten Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni the pieces that they need. And Jonathan Gannon, the pieces that they need. This is the no excuse story.
I just want to let you to know that basically Howie told you guys years ago when he got Jalen Hurts that Jalen Hurts was his guy. Y'all just didn't want to believe that shit. He told y'all when he drafted a quarterback in the second round, even though he had his quarterback of the future still there. He knew that dude was trash can, and y'all didn't want to believe it. Like, for example, like all those people that were adding me saying Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz is the best 2017. Like, I'm like, man, I haven't heard from those people in years now. And now those same people are about to jump on this bus and go boom.
I do. I mean, I do hear it. Yeah, Adam, that was my prediction. I think they go 12-5 this season. I do. I think that they're going to be a powerhouse team. And then Jalen Hurts gets paid this offseason.
13 wins. I'm calling it right now. 13 wins. 13 plus wins this year.
Okay.
Their division is trash. Absolute dog shit.
And they do have an easy year schedule, including when they play your Steelers.
Watch them out. Hey, just so you know, the Steelers have announced Mitch Trubisky as a team captain. So,
all right, Mike, the moment you've been waiting for. JD.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to play a clip for you from this weekend's union soccer game. Okay.
Okay.
And it kind of ties into a lot of the stuff that we are always talking about with basic human decency from athletes.
From athletes or towards athletes?
From athletes. Mike is ready. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
He's probably already seen this.
He hasn't. Well, he watched the game.
Dude, this dude cannot quarterback. Like, I don't care what no one says. Like, he stinks.
Okay. So this event happened in the Union game over the weekend. It features a guy. I think his name is, Drew Yearwood. Okay. I'm going to set up the clip and we'll watch it twice if needed. But basically, he does something dumb and he's going to kick the ball into the stands. Hard. This was a home game for this other team. Okay. This is a home game for, I think it's New York, Mike. Watch this, what happens. He's going to go in. Oh, come on. Oh.
Did he go into the dugout?
He goes into the stands.
To do what?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on the screen so it doesn't reset again.
I can hear.
Here he goes.
He wants to personally apologize to the fan that was struck.
Oh shit, her face is red as hell.
Uh-huh.
But he is trying to go say he's sorry though. Damn, she's bleeding. Fuck.
Yep.
Why is the kid crying?
Because it bounced off of his head into the lady. So for that, he gets a red card, which means he gets ejected from the game.
Right.
Okay. Considering how empty the stands are, I'm surprised he didn't hit an empty seat in New York Red Bulls. Yes. So I had a lot of thoughts when I saw this, but just from your initial viewing of it, what are your thoughts?
It was a dumb thing to do, but he's a human. So we do dumb things a lot. But he does try to make her. It's not like he was like pissed off. It wasn't like he was mad that he got the car. He was actually wanting to go apologize to the people that he hit. Like, it's not like he did a malice in the palace and went up in the stands to hurt people. So we got to give him that, right? Was it dumb? Yes. But athletes do dumb shit all the time. So that's par for the course. At least he did try to make it right. I'm not too mad about it. I've done things in games of things, been frustrated, and somebody got hurt. Like sometimes diving in the stands, you land on people. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that happens. The kick is a little much. I wouldn't have kicked the ball like that. But at the same time, I don't think he meant to hit anybody. I think he was meant to just kick it.
And Javi, you're saying he did show instant remorse. Okay.
Like I'm being like he tries to go up in the stand. Like he walks off the field. Even if they didn't take him out, he walked off the field to go try to rectify that situation, which I've never seen that in a soccer game.
No.
So he did go immediately try to rectify it.
And apparently, as Mike is sharing, he did apologize after in a statement online. Now, I mentioned again that this was a home game for New York. The fans, first off, the fan was like, get away. Number one.
All the fans were pissed off.
Get away. And then they started calling him an a-hole. They started chanting for his own team.
Well, he's in New York too. Like, let's imagine that happens in, like, maybe let's say it's not soccer game. Let's say it happens in football, and like one of the Eagles hurts one of these damn people in the stands. Like they would be liable to throw shit at him. So like he's just glad that all he did was get a chant. They chanted bullshit about Ben Simmons, and he actually physically didn't do anything to anybody.
Here's the other thing that I look at, and this is gonna be a bit of a stretch, right?
Oh God.
Follow me here.
Oh,
Soccer players are known for kicking a soccer ball with power, right?
Yes.
With their feet. If a boxer, while frustrated, slams his fist in a direction and punches out a ring girl, isn't it the same thing?
I mean, Yes, or when referees get ran over, like in the plays and shit.
But no. I'm not. Those are incidental. Those things happen. I'm talking about you acting immature with weapons of mass destruction, whether it's your feet or your fists.
We watch guys kick basketballs into the stands too, so we
But
can't.
they're not soccer players.
I don't know, Jack. I don't know that. I don't know if that's true. I think these guys are super strong. They're athletes. I mean, they're regardless if it's your feet or your hands. Like these guys are athletes. So they're operating at a higher bandwidth physically than most normal guys walking around on the street. So anything that you do like that is going to be heightened because of the sheer. So a lot of times the size and the sheer strength of these guys. We're on two different sides on this one, but I agree with you somewhat.
Look, we are made very clear that as fans, our place is in the stands, nowhere near what's happening on the field. We know that.
Oh, what about baseball? When they hit those foul balls and they hit those people and they had to put up a net. Like, come on, like, same thing.
They had a problem. They adjusted it. And again, that's part of the game. No part of the game is you, because you're upset, kicking a soccer ball full force into the stands. Again, he showed instant remorse. Good on him. Mike, I'm curious to know if this guy ever plays another game in New York.
Yeah, he does. He's only been suspended for a week.
Well, they only play one game a week.
Right. He's suspended for next week. I think he should just do the 1 game suspension and the 1 week suspension and be done with it. I mean, at the end of the day, like he didn't do it on purpose and he didn't do it to hurt. He didn't mean to hurt anybody. And like if it's anything like what Mike says, if it was an empty damn stadium for the most part, he probably thought it was going to hit anybody. Or maybe he misaimed.
What's that?
Maybe he had misaimed because it looks like there was like a little banister right there.
Nah, he was pissed off. He wanted to get rid of that ball. The play was over. It had nothing to do with the game.
No, what I'm saying is like, what if he thought he was going to hit the little barrier?
He didn't. There was no thinking.
I think he just did it.
He's a 22-year-old kid. I'm just kind of I'm looking around.
Mike says he will probably suspend one more at most in by the league. They're third, and he'll at least be back.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, we're making a lot out of a molehill.
I mean, this is not, to me, a molehill. This is the kind of stuff that you have to get under control. Because you take this same situation, right, and bring it all the way down to the youth level. And a kid gets pissed off and kicks the ball as far out as possible. We won't even add in the hitting of a fan piece.
Okay,
that kid is out of the game and suspended at least another game.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, but Chip, like, there's not much more you can do than that. Like, you can't punish somebody for something like that. Like, nobody. I mean, the guy probably got his tooth knocked out. The girl probably got her tooth knocked out. He's probably gonna pay a hefty fine. And this is what it is. Like, we're not gonna. Not like some people bring guns and shit to stadiums. We're worried about a guy getting mad and kicking the damn ball. We've seen fans throw shit at people. Like, we're worried about a guy kicking a ball into the stands one time. Like, he's probably never do it again. It might not ever happen again. This might be our first time ever seeing this, and last.
Well, to me, it just, again, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you, this is not of the same, this is more self-harm, and it's interesting, Mike brings up baseball. He says, if a baseball player turned around and hit a ball into the stands, we'd all be up in arms. I've been drilled in the head by a soccer ball. That shit could F you up. Yes. This is a dude who plays for the Cleveland Guardians. Okay. He's going to give up a home run here and then watch what he does to end his season. Okay. There's the pitch. Home run. Fractures his hand.
Okay.
We have got to stop having stupid stuff. And again, sports are emotional. I know. But just more conversations about controlling those emotions.
Listen, Chip, you're going to be talking about this shit till you're blue in the face. You're not going to control it. Because at the end of the day, if there was no control, if there was control, impulse control, it would take the adrenaline out of it. Like, that's the only thing that control. Like, your adrenaline pumps certain stuff into your body that makes you unable to
think clearly.
Yeah, like think clearly. Like your adrenaline is being pumped into your body at a very high level for you to play the basketball or football or baseball or soccer game at a high level. So to take that part of that person away, to consider that complete control at all times, it's almost impossible. You got it because everybody's different, and then you also got to remember that everybody's different as far as like emotionally, mentally, all that stuff. So even to say, okay, well, we need to really get our emotions in check. You don't know what that person's like. That guy may be a person that's high functioning, autistic or something. You don't ever know what somebody's doing. True. So we have different people that have emotional issues, especially in the high school level. Like I got, maybe 2 or 3 kids that may or may not have an IEP on my team, just because of the simple fact that like just the world's just different. So I mean, just because you may have a problem, impulse control or whatever, like impulse control is something that a lot of people deal with. So to say that we gotta be, on high alert for that is kind of crazy. Like this doesn't happen all the time.
I'm not saying on high alert because I have, again, I teach in middle school. My own kids, like we have impulse control issues. I'm saying we need to make sure that we have highly trained coaches and officials at the younger level to help with that, rather than just being quick to pedal.
That was bad. Yes, I agree. But this isn't happening on a low level. This happening at a high level. And a lot of the time that this stuff is happening, they're happening to adults. Like Malice in the Palace happened to adults. Like this was an adult situation. And then more times that stuff happens at little league games, it's parents that are fighting and doing stuff. So you're talking apples and I'm talking completely oranges, because it's more of the adults with the impulse controls, or they're getting too emotional or whatever. Because to adults, kids are playing a kid's game. And adults are making or raising the stakes. It's not the other way around. Kids aren't raising the stakes. Kid loses, he's pissed, he goes home, gets on his video game, calls a couple kids the F word on there, and that's it.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So we're worried about an adult problem in the kids' game.
All right, last topic, and I don't need to wheel for it. College football recap. I'm going to say these couple games and give me one word to describe what you saw this weekend with these teams.
Great. Let's do it.
Okay. Florida.
Still trash.
No.
Yeah, they're still trash.
Dude, that kid who plays quarterback for Florida.
Who did they play?
I forget. It was somebody good, though.
No, it wasn't.
Was it?
It was Utah. And
I thought it was Utah. But Utah was ranked.
Utah's trash. They do this every year with a Pac-12 team. They try to put it. All Utah is the new school version of Oregon. They just try to put them in every year. They always drop an egg. And the SEC team is still going, and they're going to get their face knocked off in the SEC. So this is the end of that. So trash.
Okay. Miami.
Trash.
Really? 70-3 didn't do it for you?
They played the School of Deaf and Blind. So no.
Yeah, they did. That was terrible.
School of Deaf and Blind.
That was terrible. Ohio State versus Notre Dame.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Boring as hell?
No, it wasn't boring. Let me say unfinished. Do you want me to expound on that?
I would like you to. You can use more than one word this time.
All right. So I feel like it was an unfinished product. Like neither one of those teams are who they're going to be at the end of the year. So we're getting a very unfinished product from them. Ohio State is going to have a firepower of an offense. They just have to figure things out. This is the only problem with having these big games at game one.
Yeah.
Neither one of those teams really know who they are. And I think Notre Dame's going to be a little bit better than I thought they were going to be. Just based on what they were able to put out. Like they didn't get blowed out. Normally the Notre Dame way is in the first couple of games when the lights are on, they get blowed out and they only lost by 11. So I'm not put off on Notre Dame. They still got a chance with me.
Yeah, I mean it was a good game, but it was dull as hell to watch. And I agree, it was way too early in the year for that massive of a matchup.
Top 5 matchup, first game of the season.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean,
I didn't hate it. Let me just say that.
I liked that it was there.
I didn't hate it. I just think that putting that much pressure on a game and expecting that type of hype is really just because everybody's figuring it out. Like we're still watching Clemson be up 14-3. Now they're down. Now they're only up 14-10.
14-10.
these dudes stink. Period.
I don't know. Like I know we already skipped over Florida. I think that Florida is going to be better than they let on. But the Ohio State Notre Dame game, like, okay, cool. 2 did what it was supposed to. 5 kept it close. It was a game. It just wasn't it wasn't an exciting game to watch. It was everybody hyped up for all year. CJ Stroud was good. You know, I mean, he didn't do anything to win a Heisman there.
I mean, they lost Olave and they lost Wilson. So that's a major part of who he was throwing the ball to last year. So we have to give him grace to get in sync with his receivers and all that stuff. Plus, it's like his proving year, so he's got to prove that he can do something.
All right. Georgia versus Oregon.
Domination.
Yo.
They don't look like they've lost very much of a step from their natty to this year. I mean, and I don't know if they're just or like I said, Oregon's a Pac-12 team. They really don't belong in there. They just kind of do it every year to like kind of try to keep them relevant. But they're not very good. They don't look very. Mario Cristobal looks like he hasn't. And he's not even there. He's at Miami now. So I don't even know who the coach is at Oregon now. He didn't look very good.
It was an ass kicking. I mean, their quarterback is Bo Nix.
Yeah, from Auburn.
They also have I got a bunch of quarterbacks on there. I don't know who their coach is. Hang on.
I don't think it matters.
It does.
I saw Bo Nix, and I saw enough of Bo Nix when he was at Auburn.
The fact that he's still playing is absurd.
I mean, that grad transfer thing is a big deal.
It is.
When you graduate and you can go wherever you want, it's kind of like it's a game changer. But in his case, it wasn't because they stink. So, all
right. So let me ask you this: based on this weekend, who should be the number 2 team in the country for this upcoming week?
Georgia.
I agree. Last game I want to chat about real quick: Florida State versus LSU.
Good game.
What a way to lose.
I don't think either one of those teams are any good. I still don't think they're good. I just think that they both are rebuilding. Very unfortunate for LSU not being able to, execute the kick. It did become a good game at the end because there was straight chaos in the last couple possessions. The last 20-something seconds were crazy. So I mean that's just college football in a nutshell for you. But I will say this. I do see the fight in Florida State, and that's something I hadn't seen on them in a while. So that did make me feel good. LSU is more of the same with Brian Kelly. He can't win the big game. So he's just taking that down to Baton Rouge. And he's always going to find a way to screw the pooch. So here's what
I hate Brian Kelly. I hate him.
Yeah. I mean, he's better than Chip Kelly, I guess.
Let's shenan real quick. What do you say?
Give me 2 shenanigans.
I got more than 2.
No, give me 2 because I only got time for it 2.
Because you have to watch the end of this Clemson game?
I got to see what's going on. These guys are getting destroyed. Like, I'm not trying to figure out what's going on.
I'll try to give you 2 shenanigans. So there's this one. This isn't a shenan. I just want to point this out. Ken Griffey Jr. retook his 89 Upper Deck photo 33 years later, and it brings true to the statement about people of the African-American skin tone.
Black don't crack.
Yo, man looks exactly the same.
Yeah, just take away his little goatee.
Yeah, that's not a shenan. I just want to point that out.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Okay. Here we go. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are Eagles red, or you can go back and draft Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf. Which pill are you taking?
Red.
Easy on the red. Easy. Yeah. Because who they had playing quarterback, Carson Wentz, could not have done with Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf that Jalen Hurts is going to be able to do with Devontae and A.J.
They don't come back as they are.
No. Just because they went to the Eagles, they were the better picks, doesn't mean they would have been a better pick here.
Yep.
This is just interesting. Roy Halladay retired in 2013 and has since passed. He still leads the Major League Baseball in complete games since 2009 with 27. Dude was a stud. Loved him.
Rest in peace.
Which team you taking? Europe or USA here?
USA, and it's not even close.
You only get one basketball.
Yeah, but Rudy Gobert can't even score that one basketball they would have. So I will definitely take that. And then they don't have a true point guard for real.
It's Luka.
Nah, Luka's he brings the ball up, but he's not a true point guard.
That's true. Do I have any other ones? All right, real quick. Who wins 3-on-3? Wade, LeBron, and Bosh, or Pippen, Jordan, and Rodman?
Pippen, Jordan, Rodman.
I disagree.
That's what I'm telling you.
Because all three up top can score.
And all three down low can play defense.
All right, there you go. You win me on that one.
Yeah, like all like defensive player of the year. Like two of them are defensive player of the year a couple of years. Like Jordan and Rodman have defensive player of the year a couple times between the two of them.
All right.
And think about the matchup. D-Wade would have to play Jordan. He's 6'6".
Yep.
D-Wade. Scottie Pippen's 6'10", maybe 6'11". And Chris Bosh would be getting his ass poked in by good old
Dennis Rodman. That's true. All right, you've convinced me. I changed my tune. Out of these four, who's the best player right now?
Ja Morant.
Okay. I did not say who's the best player in 5 years.
No, I said right now, Ja Morant.
Okay, so I go Devin Booker right now.
The reason I don't believe in the other three is because when I'm closer to picking Trey over the other two, because when the lights are the brightest, they disappear still, and that's what gives me pause for calls. Like Tatum last year during the playoffs, when they needed him the most, Jaylen Brown was the guy. When Devin Booker needed to be the guy, Chris Paul was the guy. So to me, these guys are still now. When Trae Young had his shot at it, Trae Young showed up in some of the biggest moments in that in the playoffs. So I will give it to him. And Ja Morant is Ja Morant. He's gonna show up every game.
Yeah, I think Ja in 2 to 3 years is the best player here, but right now I think it's Devin Booker. Just overall scoring ability, and like he's the guy that he's going to be. Ja Morant still has room to grow.
Fair.
Final Shenan. You can only bring back one. Blockbuster, Radio Shack, Toys R Us, or Borders Books.
Because I am a huge, ginormous child, Toys R Us. Because they had everything. You could go get like a cool toy. Like I could get something to, you know what I'm saying? And plus it makes it easier to get your kids stuff. Because like now you got to order everything on Amazon online or Walmart.
I agree that it'd be Toys R Us if we're talking about 2022. If we're talking about, when I grew up, I bring back Blockbuster every single time because the feeling of going and renting a movie and getting a little snack, like there was nothing like that. Like that's how you started your weekends.
I didn't date when Blockbuster was around, but I can't imagine you make that like that's a whole date right there. You go to Blockbuster,
that's the predate. Yeah, that's the predate.
Yeah, but it makes it hard to Netflix and chill if Blockbuster exists. Because you know what I'm saying? You can't really do it. Because you just rented this movie. You can't waste the money like not seeing it because you got to turn it back in tomorrow. You get that late charge. You dig?
It was a library for movies.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like you couldn't Netflix and chill and take the chance and not watch the movie, like messing around or fooling around. So like you couldn't take the chance with Blockbuster because like you would have to either re-rent it and still may or may not watch it, and then she wouldn't even be there to watch it with you because she would have to go back to her house. You know what I'm saying? It just complicates things.
What you got on your network this week? Go.
We have Laura Jensen coming on tomorrow. Retired porn star. She's going to be talking with Prince tomorrow. Prince and Danny on Real Time with Prince and Danny. That's tomorrow around 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got a fantasy football draft coming on. This week we got the 4-3 pod starting up. Rally Cat is coming on every Saturday before the games. We got Rally Cat, Roar Pods. This is the Clemson podcast, which I was on this morning. There's like a lot of stuff going on, man. We kick it back up. We're in full gear, man. Kids on the way. So it's popping.
We got all kinds of stuff on the network this week, but especially Wednesday, early evening, is season 2 of the weekly pickoff with me and the wife. I have officially sent her the document. She's got to fill it out with her picks. So we'll do that. And then Wednesday night, we'll do the pod where we're going to talk to some dude from the Lions because the Eagles are playing the Lions. And then we got all kinds of stuff all week, including the Eagles postgame show once they beat the hell out of the Lions because football is back. Baby, I'm excited. There is still time. I think they extended the deadline to get your Carson Wentz tickets. I am officially paid up. I did the thing. We are ready to go. We are going to go to see Carson get his ass kicked. I'm actually going to 2 Eagles games this year, which is exactly 200% more than last year. So I'm excited for that. And that's what I got. Go watch the rest of your game. Good luck. Hopefully it's not upset city. If it is, I'm gonna text you and say haha to you. But also I'll send you a crying emoji, and we'll take DJ ukulele off your hands.
Yeah, I'll take whatever I can get at this point. Dude's a bum.
So I'm Chip.
And I'm Drip.
Okay, bye. Go Birds.
Okay, bye.
Bye.